Ukraine gets new modern weapons directly from Europe, especially from Germany and Great Britain. Then Great Britain will deliver ballistic missiles to Ukraine from home stockages, and Germany sends to Ukraine new infantry fighting vehicles from the type Lynx. And while Ukraine can intensify its bond to its international partners, Russia, on the other hand, loses more and more strategic partners on the international stage. So today let's take a closer look to the Ukrainian defense industries and its bonds to the European defense industries. Hi, my name is Alexander Kortan. I'm an Austrian media management journalist and strategic analyst, and I'm also the founder of the German YouTube channel Geopol. And today we are taking a closer look to the Ukrainian defense sector. Then, while Russia loses important strategic partners in Venezuela and maybe in Iran, where the mullahs are about to fall, Ukraine can intensify its relationship to the European defense industries. And especially Germany and Great Britain play here a role model. So, for example, German defense industry Rheinmetall said they will deliver the first Lynx IFVs to Ukraine within the next few weeks. The KF-41 Lynx is one of the most modern infantry fighting vehicles, and those vehicles will play a crucial role in the war in Ukraine. But the delivery of 5 infantry fighting vehicles from Rheinmetall is not the only good news for Ukraine in this week. Because Rheinmetall also said that there will be an own production plant in Ukraine for the KF-41 Lynx as well. So Germany and Ukraine get more cooperation in the defense sector, and that's good for both parties. And for Ukraine, the reason for that is very simple, because Ukraine gets more weapons in its war against the Russian aggression. But also for Germany, this deal can be very good, because the German defense sector can test its modern weapons directly at combat. And we all know it's one thing to make weapons that look good on paper, but it's a complete other thing to make weapons that really perform under combat. And Rheinmetall can now test its infantry fighting vehicle, the Lynx, directly at combat in Ukraine, so it could be expected that the quality in Rheinmetall's weapon system can only increase further. But that's not the only crucial help Ukraine gets from Germany, because the German company Quantum Systems also announced that they will producing Ukrainian drones in Germany. For 2026 they will produce 10,000 drones for Ukraine from the types Lenza to Zoom. That also is very important for Germany and Ukraine as well. And also again, Ukraine gets more weapons, but also for Germany again it's very good news. Because Germany gets access to one of the most modern drone technologies in the world, to the technology of Ukrainian drones. And Germany gets a production plant for exactly these types of drones. And when the Ukraine war one day ends, Germany can use these facilities and these production plants to produce further drones for the Bundeswehr. So we see a joint venture cooperation between Ukraine defense industries and Germany defense industries benefits both parties. And this is also the case for Great Britain. Then Great Britain announced they will develop an own ballistic missile for Ukraine under the codename Nightfall. The Nightfall should have a range about 500 kilometers and should be used in a tactical maneuver. The Nightfall should also be ground launched, so Ukraine basically get a better version of the HIMARS system. The costs for the Nightfall are very cheap as well. Great Britain said it should not be more than £800,000 per unit. That's about 1 million euros per rocket. So in conclusion, we can say Ukraine gets further extremely important support from its allies in Europe. Germany is producing drones and infantry fighting vehicles from Ukraine, and Great Britain is using air defense, especially the Raven and the Greyhawk, and now also ballistic missiles with the Nightfall. And we have to be crystal clear, this is a very big advantage for Ukraine in its war against Russia, because Ukraine is getting these weapon systems for free, while Russia have to pay for every assistance it gets from foreign countries, especially from North Korea, China or Iran. But also for Europe it's a big advantage to make joint venture companies with Ukraine's defense sector. Because European defense industries had one big problem in the past. Europe always was able to create perfectly shaped weapons and very effective weapons, but the big problem was European weapons were always really expensive. And in a war of attrition that we see in Ukraine right now, it's very important to have a lot of weapons and not just a few expensive weapons. So the European defense sector has to learn one thing: to produce cheap and effective weapons in a mass of numbers. And exactly here is where Ukraine comes into play. Because the Ukrainian defense sector had to learn how to produce cheap and effective weapons under wartime industries. So the Ukrainian weapons may not be perfect, but they are cheap, they are there in a lot of numbers, and they are effective and especially combat proven. And that is the big plus Europe has. Because when the war in Ukraine is over, Ukrainian defense industry can teach the rest of Europe how to produce these kind of weapons. Cheap, effective, and in a big number. And when Germany and Great Britain now produces systems especially for Ukraine, like the Lynx infantry fighting vehicle or the Nightfall ballistic missiles, they already learn how to produce these weapons. So military aid to Ukraine does not only benefit Ukraine itself, but also us as Europeans as a whole. So it's very important that we keep supporting Ukraine, not just only for Ukraine, but for the safety of the whole continent. But what do you think about the Ukrainian and European defense industries, and what steps are important to take next? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I will end it here, and I wish you a good week and goodbye.